MUFON Radio, Lorien Fenton.
Welcome, everyone, to the California MUFON Radio Show. I'm your host, Lorien Fenton. Very happy you guys are along for an amazing ride this evening. My guest tonight is somebody I've never interviewed before, but it's going to be fascinating. I can guarantee you that. His name is Michael TelStarr. I believe he's a Canadian. I'm going to have to find out later, and we'll have to talk hockey a little bit, of course. But in the meantime, I have some things to talk to you guys about. Hey, Michael, can you do me a huge favor, sweetie? Do you know where your mute button is?
Yes, I do.
Great. So hit that mute button for a minute, because I'm hearing everything behind you for some reason.
Is it ocean surf you're hearing?
I'm sorry, sweetie?
Ocean surf?
I didn't understand that. But
that's what I got playing in the background, a little ocean surf.
Yeah,
I'll put it down.
Going on. It's like an echo or a weirdness or something.
Yeah.
So if you go ahead and get rid of that for me, that'd be great. We didn't have a chance, obviously, folks. We didn't have a chance to do a.
How is that? Is that better, Lori?
I can still hear you.
Okay.
The background's better. We're doing our sound check, everyone. Just thought it would let you know.
Okay, so I'll put it on mute button.
Yeah, perfect. Great. That's the best. That way I hear nothing. But I am still getting my, oh, that's odd. I've never seen that before, MJ, where I'm lighting up, but I'm not hearing anything. That's really strange. Okay, well, hey, it is what it is. It's Skype. And all I can tell you is in Skype, everything is a mystery these days. Unbelievable. Total mystery. Can't figure out what's happening. But anyhow, let's see. Yeah, okay. So I saw a bubble happen. I thought I'd go see if anybody was trying to get home. Okay, the sound check is done. We're back to the show. Okay, everyone. So let's see. What am I going to talk? Oh, God, what am I not going to talk about tonight? Okay, I hope Michael doesn't mind sitting through my little rant here at the beginning of the show. But actually, this was more of a commercial than a rant. I just want you all to know that we are putting on the JFK conference in Washington, D.C. And the website is jfkconferencedc.com. And if you guys will go there and visit that site, you'll find some of the most amazing people. Gosh, I'm hearing myself, Michael. I don't know what's happening. MJ, got any clues as to why I keep hearing myself even though he's supposedly muted? I'm trying to figure this out. It's disconcerting at my end. It may not be bothering anybody else, but I'm hearing an echo. So it's getting weird to hear myself talk all the time. Anyhow, so we're putting on the jfkconferencedc.com. Check out the website. It's going to be very interesting. Now, I've been getting weird flack, and I thought I'd throw it back out to the universe and see if I can dismantle this flack. Actually, I went on a show the other day, and I talked about the infighting in the JFK community. And I probably shouldn't have done that, because what's happening now is there's a whole backlash about people saying, why should I come to the conference if those guys can't even get along? And then I basically come back with, well, the UFO community's never gotten along, so what difference is it if it's JFK or UFOs or whatever? Nobody gets along. I mean, what are we going to do here? My whole point to what I was trying to tell people either last week on this show or the week or Monday, I don't remember, was basically this. Everybody fights that's a researcher, especially in the JFK community, because these guys have dedicated their life to this. 40 years, some of them, 50 years. I mean, they're old. These guys are in their 70s and 80s, and they've been doing this since the day Kennedy died. So we're looking at, 37 years then, and another 17 years now. I mean, some of these guys have been literally doing this 45 years, 50 years, 50 whatever, since the day he died. So they, when they go down a rabbit hole and they write about it, and they've written 4 books about it, and then somebody comes along and says, you're completely wrong. And then they write another book counter doing what they're doing. And then everybody's got their own thing. And everybody says, no, I'm right. No, I'm right. I'm right. And what I tried to tell them all, and this is my point to this part of the show tonight, is that it doesn't matter what community you're in, and it doesn't matter what you write. What really matters to everybody. And whether it's UFOs, whether it's JFK, whether it's conspiracies, I don't care if it's 9/11, I don't care what it is. The bottom line is you take all of those books, you grind them up, and you take all the information out of every single one of them, and you draw the big picture, and everybody's right to an extent. It's that simple. And then when you connect all the dots, you've got an amazing array of information. And I cannot figure out why none of the people that write books in the UFO community and none of the researchers and the authors in the JFK community have ever figured this out. It's like they can't even be in the same room together. But I will tell you this now. Here's the point to the other part of this whole rant is this. I can get them all in one room together, and that's the extraordinary thing of this next conference that we're putting on. I'm getting people in a room together that usually won't be in a room together. And if they are, there's usually some kind of thing, and then they leave, and then, they don't talk to each other. Well, I tell them, and under no uncertain terms, do I tell these guys that basically you show up, you're nice to each other, and we're all going to play ball. And then we all go home at the end of the day. Then you don't have to talk to each other ever again if you don't want to. But it's just like kindergarten. Everybody shows up, everybody plays nice, and then at the end of the day, maybe you might learn something from each other. It's an amazing thing. So that's what I said on my show a few days ago, and I've been getting a lot of flack for having said that. But you guys, it's the truth. It's the absolute truth. It saddens me that it's the truth, but it's just truth for every community I've ever been in. Spiritual communities, ashrams, you name it, I've been there. There's competition no matter where you go and how you look at it. Churches, I've been in churches where there's this kind of stuff going on. I mean, it's mind-boggling. All the psychologists I work for, they're pitted against each other. Everybody's pitted against each other, except maybe in the younger communities where the kids are they're thinking differently than this whole competition thing that's going on, which is a beautiful thing. I love it. I'm glad that they can all do that. It's great. I can't see it being very innovative on some levels, but I'm glad they're doing it. I just wish we had more researchers like we did. These guys are tenacious. I mean, I'm talking about guys in the JFK community that have dedicated hours and years of their life to this. They've lost wives. I mean, they're all divorced because of it. No one, it's just unbelievable the dedication, what these guys have done for the community. I mean, it's just mind-boggling to me. And, I can kind of understand how they get flipped out when all kinds of, people come along and say, oh, you're wrong. I mean, they've really dedicated their life to this. So anyhow, that was my point to all that. Whether it was on this show, another show, or another show, I don't remember. But I've been getting literal hate mail for even bringing this up. But I really do wish you guys could make the conference. And the reason I'm bringing this all up is because I have got David Denton and I have gotten some extraordinary people to be in the same room at the same time. And it's going to be absolutely killer conference. And I use that word, not murder, but killer. It's not a JFK murder. Okay. I'm too tired to, wait till you guys hear what happened to me. Oh my God. So anyhow, what I did is we've gotten these people together. We've got some really amazing people together in the same room. We've got Roger Stone, Cyril Wecht, Ed Tatro. If you guys don't know about Ed Tatro, you're not supposed to know about Ed Tatro. Ed Tatro will not go on a radio show. He will not finish it. He will not publish his book. He will not do anything until he is long gone off this earth. And at that point, everything will come out. But he refuses to do so. And the man is just probably the most amazing guy when it comes to JFK research that anybody's ever met. I'll tell you guys something. When he was speaking at the George Norrie, it was our Lee Harvey Oswald conference in New Orleans, and George Norrie was there. And George Norrie and Tom Danheiser asked him to be on Coast to Coast, and he flat out refused. And so that's the kind of guy he is. He just will not do this stuff. So he's going to show up at the conference, though. He always shows up at the conferences. He's got new information ever since the archives came out, you guys. This is just, it's It's going to be extraordinary. If you go look at the lineup, most of Saturday is dedicated to the archives and the new information. Larry Rivera is going to be there with even more startling information about how Lee Harvey Oswald was standing in the doorway. And, we've really got it pegged for this conference. And if it wasn't for those archive releases, it'd just be another JFK conference. But I'm telling you guys, the stuff that they've been digging up, I mean, they call me about once every 2 or 3 weeks and they go, guess what I found out? I'm like, what? They're like, they tell me and I'm like, oh no, that's going to be so cool. Anyhow, it's going to be really, really special. Now, the other thing I got to bring up about the JFK conference quickly is the fact that you guys, these guys are 70 and 80 years old. They're not going to be around much longer. I tell everybody, they goes, oh, you're going to keep doing the JFK conferences. And I look at them and I go, probably for a few more years. But after that, there's not going to be anybody left standing to do them with. I mean, seriously, Jim Marrs died this year. David Denton, not David Denton, I'm sorry. Dennis David died. Is it Dennis David? Yeah, I think so. Anyhow, and there's a couple more that have died that are amazing people. I think Dennis David was in Bethesda at the autopsy. He was one of the guys there at the hospital. So he was an important witness. We're just losing them left and right. And then just think about this. Think of all the people they killed that we will never be able to talk to. So, I mean, there's a small array of people out there who actually know what happened that day. And they've really got their stuff together. So, if you guys can make this conference, please do. I can't promise anything like it will ever happen again. I'm hoping so, but that doesn't mean it will. And this could just be like the swan song. I don't know. But I hope you guys can make it. And I know that Judith is going to be putting on Dallas again this year. I mean, she's planning on it. But again, Judith is 70-some years old. She's no spring chicken. Again, we almost lost her to blindness last year, so she couldn't function. So who knows? I mean, they're not all healthy, guys. So I don't know what else to say. I really don't. I mean, this is the last time I'm going to harp on this conference, but I really think it's important that you guys understand the significance of these conferences, the significance of the people speaking at them, whether they fight amongst themselves or not, which I should probably have never brought up. But it's important you guys know that. I think the interesting part about that is I'm kind of glad they fight amongst themselves, because at least then they're always looking for the next angle. They've never gotten complacent. I think that the spark of that guy looking over their shoulder, examining their work, keeps them thinking and looking for new avenues and finding new witnesses, and it just keeps them going. It may be that little bit of that competitive edge and 75 years old, knowing there's two other guys right on your heels that are doing the same kind of work that keeps them alive. So maybe in a way it's a really good thing. So anyhow, we're going to leave it at that. Now, the reason I'm saying so much and repeating myself and not making much sense tonight, you guys, thank God I've got a great guest. He's going to carry the show for me tonight. I know he is. I've had about an hour's sleep, and here's what happened in a nutshell. I went to my email about 20 hours ago, and I looked at it, and I went, what the heck happened? I'm missing 2 months of emails, and the ones I could see for 1 month of for up till February 6th. So it was missing December, January, and then from January 7th to February 6th, you couldn't see anything in the email. It was all gone. And it was just like opening, a blank page. So I was like, what happened? So I discovered that January 7th to February 6th was blanked, and then I'm missing January to December, and it was November 7th to December 7th. They're just gone. And I was like, what the heck happened? So foolishly, I tried to fix it. Now it's all in Thunderbird. Now I have Carbonite, backs everything up to the cloud. So I'm in here feverishly trying to fix this whole thing. And I think to myself, oh, I don't have to worry. I'll just get the Carbonite back up and throw it on there. Well, I fell asleep sitting here in the chair. Carbonite backed up the bad file. I should have turned Carbonite off. I didn't turn it off. So I fall asleep sitting here in the chair working on this, trying to get it to the point where I can put the Carbonite file back in, and then everything will be back to normal again, and I'll be right up to yesterday, right? And if I lose a month, I lose a month. No big deal, right? So I fell asleep sitting here, and I wake up, and I'm going, oh my God, it's 4 hours later. Carbonite's backed up the bad file. So I'm sitting there, and now what do I do? So then I get the brilliant idea that I'm going to download it from my Comcast server, because the mail, I keep the mail there forever, as long as it'll stay until I run out of room. So that's brilliant, Lorien. I'll just do that. So I did it. Little did I know that when you delete the POP data file and it take out the date range, it doesn't look for, it just goes back to the beginning. It doesn't go to where the date you had left on the the screen is. Oh my God. I've been downloading since yesterday 731,000 emails. I stayed up all night watching them download. They all downloaded. It took about an hour for every 10K of emails. So now I'm sitting here deleting, because they're all the same ones that I saved. So now I'm sitting here deleting all the unopened emails, and there's 80,731 left to go. I kid you not, folks. This is exactly what I'm doing. And I've been up, and I have had like an hour and 15, maybe an hour and 40 minutes. I don't know. Not enough sleep. So, but I went to work, and I'm home, and I'm going to drink another cup of coffee while the show's happening, and I'm going to try to muscle through this. But honest to God, this is what I'm dealing with. And wouldn't you know, it's very interesting. It seems that I've got a Chrome problem, and someone might have hacked my email. I don't know how they did it or why they did it, but it seems that someone wrote a script that keeps pulling this away. So I don't know what's happening. It's deleting it. If anybody has any ideas on that, let me know. I'm going to go into the chat room, and let me know if you've ever had that problem in Thunderbird where Chrome seems to be sucking away all the information. Kind of like a Windows vacuum cleaner. Anyhow, and just kind of like they do with Skype. I'm still trying to figure that all out. So anyhow, I want to get to my guest. And Michael, are you still with me? Your mute buttons worked beautifully, by the way. I just want you to know that. He's going to fumble around for a second looking for how to undo it.
I'm here.
There you are. All right. Excellent. Okay. So how are you, Michael?
Oh, I'm doing great. I couldn't ask for a better spot to do my interview tonight. I'm suspended about 50 feet in the air. And it's just terrific. It's pretty cold though here in Canada, of course. It's about, with the wind chill, it's probably minus 15 tonight.
Oh, you're kidding. Now, where are you in Canada? What city?
I'm in Toronto, Ontario.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Now, are you a mobile person? Or are you a house person? How are you surviving these days? Because I'm watching your videos.
I'm very, very nomadic.
Oh, good. I like very that. Nomadic.
I have a little loft garage, but I've traveled for many years in RVs, and I have had apartments for a few years here and there, but pretty well my whole life I've been nomadic, and I guess that's the way I like it.
Oh, I think it's amazing. I love your lifestyle. If I could do it, I would. But I'm one of these people who likes to have my kitty cats and my garden. I'm one of those kind of people. So I don't get to do that. But boy, good for you. It sounds like a lot of fun. I was looking you up online because I couldn't find your website. Do you have a website? Yeah,
it's under construction right now. But it is under usually my name, michaeltelstarr.com. But I put a pseudo website up on the Chaos Guru Facebook page that I sent you. I don't know if you had a chance to see it.
Oh, I haven't. Yeah, I can't get any of my emails open right now, as you've probably figured out. Or if I got it, I lost it in the purge. So I don't know, Michael. I may not have gotten it. Can you do me a favor on the break at the top of the hour? Go ahead and type it into the Skype chat, and we'll share it with everybody then. How's that? Or you can do it verbally right now if you'd like.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see here. I'm really not familiar with the technology as much as I should like to, but if you go to Facebook, just type in my name, Michael TelStarr, TelStarr, and I put together some videos for you, just especially for you tonight. And
you did.
I put together and put them on there. Yes, and but if you type Michael TelStarr, you'll get 3 different Facebook pages, and my heading is Chaos Guru 888 at Facebook.com. Chaos,
okay,
yeah.
I'm going to Michael first. Okay, we're going to find this, you guys. We're going to do it together. Is that MichaelTelStarr?
That's right. That's it, Lorien.
Okay. That's what I'm doing. And, there's a dot between the Michael and the TelStarr, folks. You go to facebook.com/Michael.TelStarr, Michael TelStarr. So there you go. Very interesting. Okay, I found you. I'm excited. All right.
It's the Chaos Guru one, right? Because the other ones are a little bit different.
Well, it's not Chaos Guru. This is Michael TelStarr.
And if you go down and check the other pages, you'll see another 2 pages, and then one will show the Chaos Guru. It has my different information there. One is Supernatural Mike, one's Ordinary Michael, and the other one is Out of This World Michael.
Well, let's start with, first of all, who are you? Because I hadn't heard of you before, and somehow you emailed me, and I was like, this guy looks interesting. And I think I found you on Facebook, actually. Is that where I found you?
Mm-hmm. I think so, yes.
Yeah, and I think it was because of the Travis Walton and, God, I can't remember my buddy.
Colonel Donald Ware.
Yes, Mr. Ware. We're standing with you in a picture, and I thought, well, if you're hanging out with those two, you got to have aliens hanging around with you.
That's right. Yeah, I met Travis 25 years ago at the Mesquite, Nevada, at the International UFO Conference there when Bob Brown was doing it.
Oh, and, wonderful!
At the time, he's still a little bit somber, but he seems to be a little bit more relaxed now these days, I think.
He is. It's interesting you said that, because 2 or 3 years. Well, I met Travis maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago at Congress, and I walked up to him, Michael, and I said, "Mr. Walton, it's so nice to meet you. I would love to do an interview with you if you don't mind. I'm here at the conference doing them in the back room." And he looked at me and he said, "No, I don't want to." And I said, "Well, that's absolutely fine. I have no problem with that." And he goes, "Great." And that's all I said to him, and I walked away. The next year, I walked up to him and I said, "Hi, Mr. Walton. I know you don't remember me from last year, but I'm doing interviews in the back room. Do you want to be interviewed?" And he went, "Nah, not really. No, I don't think so." I went, "Okay, fine, no problem." Third year, I walk up to him and I say the same thing, and he looks at me and goes, "You know what? Let's do it."
Third time's a charm, eh?
Yeah, I know. It just took 3 years. That's all. I was just like, oh my God. And then we got to know each other better. And I've sat with next to him at tables at different conferences that I've been at. And Travis is a good guy. I really like him.
Yeah.
And he's finally embraced what's happened to him at a whole nother level. Because, there is a thing about his experience was so traumatic. I mean, I don't know if people get what it's like to be dead, wake up on a ship, have all different types of aliens working on you, be deposited back here, and then to find out that all your buddies are being accused of murdering you. I mean, it's just...
Well, I'm sure they were relieved to see that he was alive still.
Oh, yeah, I bet they were. I'm sure they were. Oh God. Well, anyhow, let's get back to you. So now, how did your beginning start? Were you seeing aliens when you were a baby, like a lot of people, or was this something that just happened as you got older?
Well, I had some strange experiences when I was about 7, 8, 9, 10. When I was in Fort McMurray, Alberta, between the ages of 10 and 14. I did see some they considered UFOs. And I was in the Army Cadets, and we go winter hiking and camping. We'd stay overnight, 2-3 nights, and this is during the wintertime. Sky is very clear, and we would see some actual unusual objects that would seemingly land maybe 5-6 maybe kilometers away. And I wanted to go have a look and see whatever they were, and a couple other guys, but counselors told us that they were just, military or whatever. And there is no military up there. And this is, we're talking about quite a while ago. So I had repetitive dreams of objects landing for many years, landing from nowhere, stars seemingly dancing in the sky. With each succeeding dream and year, I would see the lights get closer and closer to my field of vision in my dream on Earth until the object would land. And then eventually, whatever it was, something would come out. Someone, something, some being, whatever, and come up to me and communicate with me. And this is one of the reasons why I probably went to the Monroe Institute when I was 24. But originally, I'd become an escape artist.
I did see that. I saw your GoFundMe page.
Yeah.
And I saw some of the amazing magic that you do. One of the other guys that's very prominent in the UFO field or conspiracy or whatever field you want to call it, or consciousness, is Paul Davids. Do you know Paul?
No, I can't say that I do.
Okay. That's okay.
I got a good memory. But I don't recall him being at the fairs or the conferences, but
yeah. He comes to a lot of the consciousness conferences more these days than the UFO ones. So yeah, but he's a very interesting guy too. Do you remember Forey Ackerman, the guy who did the monsters from TV Land, TV Land magazine?
Yes.
Yeah, he was good friends with Forey, and he was also a magician at the Magic Castle in Los Angeles.
Yeah, people ask me that. I mean, I'm not a magician, right? I wasn't an escape artist, and patterned myself after Houdini, who I admired at the time. And I established several world records in escapology, and I had a desire to want to learn how the mind and the body worked. And I did this for several years while I was having these unusual dreams of entities and other life forms. And at 24, my girlfriend at the time had mentioned the Monroe Institute. And so she had told me a little bit about them. I researched them. And then I applied and I went up there to find out what was happening because I was having a lot of what they termed at the time as OBs.
Wow. That's really amazing. So you consider yourself a mentalist. Is that correct?
Well, people call me that, a mentalist, but I really don't have a label. Paranormalist might be better.
I like that. I like that better.
Because paranormalist, I do energy demonstrations, and I don't I don't have props, and I don't have things. When I was very younger, all right, I may have had some things when I was 14, 15, 16, and but then I realized that there was more to there was real magic. Let me put it this way, Lorien, when I did some so-called mentalism work, mind reading or psychometry or predictions, sometimes I didn't think I did it correctly, but something happened where I actually did something that was beyond what the effect would be. So I realized that something was happening, right? So the magic or the mentalism, the techniques I learned in nonverbal communication stimulated some area of my brain, and that gave me a hypersensitivity. My father also took me to the Clark Institute when I was 14. And this is something different, but I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Oh, sure. I thought every contactee had it.
Well, it's a neurological condition, not a psychological condition. And they thought I was autistic, but my father thought it was something wrong with me, right, at 15. And so he took me to see these psychiatrists. Had to trick me to take me there. And they asked me questions, 100 questions for several hours. And he took me there because he told them some unusual things that I was talking about and didn't seem to make sense to him. And in the long run, they told him it was fine. But they wanted him to come back the next day to find out why he thought I was so different. So
Interesting.
in a way that when I heard that happen, I won't expletive. I can't repeat what he said to them, right? But he basically said that I fooled 3 trained psychiatrists, into thinking that I was normal, whatever. But they identified me with having this condition of sensitivity, which I didn't know what it was at the time either. And I want you to know that out of about 100 interviews that I've done in the past, you're the first person on radio that I have admitted to that condition. So this is not something that I have ever admitted to anyone, and maybe 2 or 3 people in my entire life now. Not even my girlfriend of 14 years now. Not even some of my best friends now. And because something they don't understand.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank you for sharing that on the show tonight.
I thought I mentioned it because it's a first time ever. Now it's revealed. Now it's known. This is a sensitivity that can make you go a little bit bananas, a little bit crazy, but it's a very strange thing, and it's not a psychological state. It's a neurological, but they did give me drugs.
Progressive presents Get Pumped. Inspiration to help you do insurance stuff.
Okay, time out. You're gonna let your budget be the boss of you? Take control with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Tell us what you want to pay for car insurance, and we'll help you find options that fit your budget. Here's some music to get you pumped. Da-dong, 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 dang, dang. I hear your budget laughing at you. Oh, wait, that's just those kids laughing at me. Ignore them! Da-dong, da-dong,
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Drugs at first, to try to diminish it, and I did go on them, and I got off them until I learned what it was about, and then I went to the Monroe, and that kind of helped me a lot.
Exactly. Yeah, because what I really believe Asperger's is a heightened sensitivity to telepathy, empathy. It can be many things. Yes. Everybody I know that is a contactee that is brilliant has Asperger's. Every single one of them.
It's unfortunate. A lot of people. There's probably 1,000 people that are in institutions that should not be there, that are drugged up so bad that they can't even feel the cup they're holding to drink water.
I know.
Because it dulls their senses so tremendously. But I did get off that stuff willingly and consciously once I understood how to develop it.
Well, see, that's the thing. You've got a very strong mind, and that's what it takes. And every one of the people I know that have this condition has told me, Lorien, once I figured out what it was, I'm smart enough to handle it. I'm smart enough to make it part of my personality, who I am, how I think, what I do, how I approach people. It just becomes part of them. And and once you accept it, it's actually a blessing. But
a lot of people, a lot of doctors, or a lot of psychiatrists, or a lot of people, unfortunately, they won't be sometimes as fortunate, and they're going to think it's some sort of a mental condition as opposed to a neurological one. And they're not going to look at the extrasensory or extra sensitive perception. And that's the way the pharmaceuticals are too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're terrible. They're just terrible. I don't admit this much on air either, but I'm going to tell you, Michael, since you've done it, I'm going to do it too. I'm a very empathic person, to the point where they thought something was wrong with me too, because one of my problems was every time someone was sick around me, I didn't see ghosts, but if someone had cancer, I would be getting sick. I could feel people's pain. I could just tell that they had an emotional issue, and if they were angry, I would be hiding in the corners. If they were, I was a little weird as a kid too. And they never diagnosed me with Asperger's that I know of, but they always said, "Oh, she's too sensitive. She can't do this. She can't do that. Whatever." And it's just because I'm going to give you one example. A friend of mine went camping with us, and they were leaving, and they were moving across country. I was so broken up about losing this friend. I cried for 5 days. Literally cried. I just lay down in a ball and cried for 5 days because I was losing something very precious to me. And my parents thought I was crazy because I was doing this, And it was because I was missing that person already. And I'm a very emotional person. At least I was. I mean, I'm 60 now, so I've got a handle on it. But, man, I'm telling you, the first 15 years of my life were an emotional roller coaster. Yep. But I'm sure they were the same for you, you know?
Yes, but I tried to escape from it by becoming an escape artist. Realizing what I was doing.
That. Well, that worked wonders for you. And I got to say, I was fascinated by your escape artist routines. Now, you actually did a lot of the Houdini stuff, right?
Yes, I did. Yes, a lot of it I did. 16,
so
17.
you did the water tank. What is the water tank called? I can never remember.
Well, back then, Houdini called it the... Today, I don't think they use the term. They call it the Chinese water for cell escape. But it's basically a tank of water where you're submerged upside down, locked in shackles.
Exactly.
And you're put upside down to the tank. And then you have to try to attempt to make your escape. Thing is my escapes are real. They're not illusions. They're real escapes. And some of them I will do right in front of the audience. There is footage on YouTube that shows me doing my escapes in full view as opposed to Houdini having it covered by a curtain. And I think he lost a lot of that, but he did it maybe to retain a secret. But there is no secret. You really do have to escape. Yeah. And so my escapes were done without a curtain, in full view, so that people could see just how difficult it was to get out or to do it.
Yes, absolutely. Wow, that's really cool. I hope everybody goes online and finds that. Now, how do they find that? Is it only...
If they go under YouTube and press Michael TelStarr, they'll see all my videos there. I've got about 200 there.
Great. Okay. Now, remember, everyone, it's Michael, just like it's usually spelled, but the last name is a little different. It's TelStarr.
That's right.
TelStarr with two R's. Okay, so that's how you got to find him. Now let's. I saw that you were bending spoons. Is this true?
Yes. That's something that I did started doing when I was very young, and contrary to popular belief, people have that ability, and I had a lot of hyperactive energy, and I would affect physical things around me. And I learned how to focus that energy when I went to the Monroe at the second time I went up there. And Mr. Monroe was one of my mentors and idols at the time, still is. You can affect, let me put it this way, you can affect the molecules and the energy. Thoughts are things, thoughts are energy, and people can project thoughts and their energy to affect others. So, for example, I can touch you from 25 feet away. I can have you smelling a scent from something that doesn't exist.
Right.
And these are things I can actually do. And I have done the International UFO Conference that was run in Rockwell, Nevada by Bob Brown. I attended about 14 of them, and I demonstrated this ability. And I have magicians come up to me and ask me, well, where can I buy this? I says, look, Mac, you can't buy it. You got to go to the Monroe, or you got to be born with it, or you just got to do it, right?
Yes.
But I had people offer me 4 figures on how I will do something. And I says, I can't sell it to you, otherwise I would be. But I can have you hold a key or a spoon, and you can hold it, and I can bend it in front of everybody without touching it.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
And I have done this, and it's a part of your energy. You have it. I have it. And I call it remote telekinesis, right? And I guess you didn't have the chance to see my background, but I took Dr. David Morrehouse's master's program and back in 2001. And so I'm very adept at that also, but I call it remote telekinesis and remote touching.
Wow.
And I teach people how to do this.
Michael.
I show how to, you'd be able to do it. I could show some people, and some people can do it right away, and some people it takes a little longer. But I've done over 2,000 programs where I've actually showed people that they're more than their physical selves. Because they're more than their physical selves, they can experience other energies and energy systems, that can make them do unusual and amazing things. And why would you apply it, or why would you want to use it? It's up to you. I can't say why. But once you realize you're more than your physical self, then it increases your self-esteem and confidence, and you can use it for healing, perhaps self-healing or helping others.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
And this is my goal. This has been my goal for the past 3 decades. You know, I haven't been an escape artist for a long time. My name, by the way, if you had a chance to see it, was Scott Free for 15 years. I took the name after a superhero from a comic book, Scott Free, master escape artist. And so I know I liked it, you know, for 15, 16 years. And then I changed it to my birth name, Michael TelStarr.
Oh, that is wonderful. I did see the Scott Free, and I thought, oh, that is a great name. You're Scott Free. I love it. That's so cool.
You weren't able to see my birth sign, right? Friday the 13th. July,
you were born on Friday the 13th? And yes. What does that make you? I mean, what month and what sign are you?
July. I have 2 birth certificates. I have one for the 12th, and I have one for the 13th. And for some reason, the Roman Catholic minister stamped the one for the 13th on the Friday.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. So, but you're still a Cancer, right? I mean,
yes.
You're looking at okay,
July,
good.
yeah, midway, summer. I love the summer. I could withstand extremely cold temperatures, but I love the summertime, and I am a summer man. You know,
I love this. This is great information. Now, I want to know something. When I saw you bending that key in that woman's, it was either in your hand or a woman's hand.
Oh, yeah, that was at the Alien Cosmic Expo I did 2 years ago in Brantford, Ontario. It was the first one they did in Canada, in fact.
Oh, great. Okay, so you're standing there, though, but the key seemed to kind of, you put your hand over the top of it. Did you touch it?
No.
Or did you have your hand away from it?
No, I never touched the key. They had the key. They brought the key up. I invite people to bring up. I can't do this unlimited, right? I'm not omnipotent. I'm not omnipotent. I don't have unlimited power energy. I have a lot. I have a lot, but I can't do. You know, I say to people, look, you can learn to do it, but this is the technique, and I really don't understand how I do it. I just have an idea of the technique that I'm using, but I still don't quite understand exactly how it works.
Okay.
Just to let you know, I mean, I'm not 100% sure, you know, how it works, but I wish I could show you, and I'm sure I'll meet you one day and I will show you, and I will actually show you the technique and how to move a piece of paper on a pin of a needle.
Wow.
I teach people how to do that too in my program.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. But, you know, the interesting part about this is I think that you should be, I mean, this is just my opinion, Michael. Is there any scientist in your area that could measure the kind of energy that's coming off of you in the hertz range? Have you had that done?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I get in the, I can get into the alpha brainwave state relatively quickly and maintain the state for extended periods of time, but that's after a lot of practice. I can also get into the alpha and theta brainwave state while I'm awake. So my mind is awake and my body is asleep. I learned how to do that through the Monroe. And it takes practice, but a part of my brain on the right side is with the cerebral cortex is stimulated. At the Monroe Institute, they did a imaging scan with their special check unit, control holistic environmental chamber, their master chamber. And they recorded my areas of the brain that were stimulated while I was having a remote viewing session or a out-of-body experience session. And people do these things, Lorien. They're just not aware of it. You know, they're not consciously aware of it. You become consciously aware of it, and you just want to learn it. But the thing is that, like a bodybuilder, I became obsessed with it. At 20 years old, you know, by the time I was 20, I was obsessed with developing this non-physical ability. And I would practice since I was self-employed, doing my escapes and other stuff. I would practice morning, noon, and night to just be able to shut it off, and bring it on at will, which I can do today. And in hospitals, I played enough tricks with the doctors to make my pulse stop. I do that on the stage. You get a couple of nurses, have them take my pulses, and I'll get them to speed up and slow down and to stop both at the same time. And that's an autonomic nervous reflex. And that's a technique that I learned, but I don't know how I do it either. I just know I do it.
Exactly. And I'm going to tell you something. I was a professional dancer, and I used to have to be in my body or out of my body or whatever the heck I wanted.
I'm sorry, did you say you were a burlesque dancer?
I was a professional dancer.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. I'm just pulling your leg, Lorien.
I know. I'm having a great time. I haven't had any sleep, so everything is funny. Let's put it that way.
Oh, well, then you must be in a high alpha state then.
I am. Yeah. I'm barely here, my dear.
Because little sleep deprivation will do that for you. I wouldn't advise it, but it is a great way to get in an alpha state.
Yeah, I'm kind of high right now, to be honest with you.
How many scotches have you had?
Oh, God. Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm going to lose. I'm going to start laughing so hard I'm not going to be able to do the show. Okay, I got to get my act together here. Okay, so as a dancer, I understand what you're talking about. When you work with your body and your body becomes like a tool, then your mind actually kind of separates and you start learning how to use your mind separate from your body. And people don't get that. When I used to get on a stage, it was like my mind was floating around on top of the body. It wasn't really part of it because my body had to do what it had been learning for months. And it was thinking about something completely different than moving my arm. It was thinking, oh, don't forget you got to be over here at this point. And don't forget that so-and-so is picking you up at this point. And do a double turn here. What type of
dancing did you do, Lorien? Was it stage, theatrical?
Yeah. I was in a ballet company, and then I was in a jazz company, and then I had my own modern dance company.
You really have to be synchronous with everybody.
Yes, you either have to be synchronous or you have to be a soloist. I mean, it's kind of like you got to do everything, Yeah. And but the brain does separate, and people talk about that as being in the zone in sports.
Yeah, I call it the M zone. Yeah.
Yeah, gymnasts do it all the time, and they do it naturally because they're the same thing. Their body's trained to do one thing.
But that's only after 1,000 hours, right?
Exactly.
You dance for 100, 1,000 hours. People think it's effortless because you just do it, but you practice for untold hours, for days, months, and years. So your body automatically it's automatic, but it's taken you consciously many, many, many hours to learn that. So to the degree that you can do that, that's how well you can do it.
Yeah. People ask me to this day, Michael, they go, we're going dancing. You want to come with us? And I go, hell no. I said, I spent 8 hours a day, 7 days a week for 35 to 40 years in a dance room. The last thing I want to do is go dance for fun.
Well, do you miss it?
No, not at all, actually. I thought I would.
You miss being on the stage?
No, I really don't.
You did this when you were pretty younger than when you're...
I danced till I was 35, and then that was... Oh, no, I actually danced till I was 33, and then when I was 33 to 42, I had my own company. And then at 42 was the end of it. I just said, that's it, I'm done. Now, and the reason I don't miss it, Michael, is because... there's not a lot of gratification in it because it's a self-propelling thing, and unless you're a ballerina star, there's really nowhere to go with it.
So your specialty was about ballet?
It was when I was younger, yes.
And then later on, did you do other types of dancing?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I also was a tap dancer, a belly dancer, which
that's good. Have. That's good. So you varied. You had some variations.
Oh yeah, and I was a jazz dancer. I did everything. I was in 3 companies at one point. Yeah, no.
You must have had a lot of fun still. Must have been hard, but you must have had a lot of fun still.
I did. I had a blast. I tell people I really had a blast. But by the time I was 42, I realized that it's it's kind of like a self-emulating thing. It's not something you do for others. Yeah. And I realized that I needed to do something for others. And I kind of stumbled into this world, and I don't know how I do know how
you danced your way into it.
I did. I kind of
danced. Without realizing it. You just kind of danced. It took you to that direction.
Yeah, to a beat of a different drum, as they say.
That's it.
But yeah, one day I woke up and something happened, and I said I'm going to do something different, and so there I was. But the UFO community is a very interesting place to be, because it's. I don't know if you've been following this, Michael. Are you following the disclosure that's going on right now?
Yes, Stephen Greer, and I have been following it religiously. It's just one of those things that I got connected to. I guess I started talking about ETs and aliens, when I was 17, 18, and then people would put me down before that, and after a while I didn't care because I knew that there was something there, and I would talk about it, and then after that people didn't put me down anymore. But I wasn't afraid to speak about it.
That's good.
It didn't matter to me what anyone thought because I knew.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So you knew the truth. You knew what was happening.
Yeah, like, and what was good was I was told, too, by other doctors that I wasn't hallucinating. That was a good thing, That was good, yes.
Yes, that's good when they say you're not hallucinating. I love that part.
Right, yeah.
Well, so what I'm asking, Michael, though, is you've been following the latest disclosure stuff with To the Stars Academy with Tom DeLonge.
Yes.
What do you think of all this?
Well, there's some veracity and some truth to it, and you have to take it as it comes, right? And depending on the credibility of the person and their reputation, that's how much you can maybe perhaps absorb. It's always good to have a skeptical side, but the thing is that if it comes from individuals and people that have been around for decades, and they don't have a ulterior motive to saying it. There have been some authors out there. For example, I knew an author 23 years ago who wrote a completely fictional account about abductions, and he was at one of the Bob Brown's UFO conferences in Laughlin, Nevada for a week, and their investigators did a checkup background on him, and they found out the fourth day into the conference, after he did his talk, that he was a professional science fiction writer.
Oh,
right?
was that Lee Shargle?
Perhaps, yes.
Yep, it was Lee.
And
he's actually a friend of mine, Michael.
Well, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but
it's fine.
The thing is that the book would have sold probably just as well, but it's just that they did a background check. Bob Brown would do that, right?
Yes.
He even checked my background with the Monroe Institute and other things. But God bless him, I haven't seen Bob in a long time. I guess probably more than a dozen years since his wife passed away, Terry. But they were very professional. So if the person has a professional reputation and credibility, then I think that the information that they're partaking, that they're delivering to you, probably has a heck of a lot of substance to it than there otherwise would.
I agree with you on that. And the interesting thing about Lee and what he did at that conference, because I'm not saying nothing bad
about him, because you know what?
Yeah.
I had a picture of me with him, and I actually like the guy.
Yeah, I like Lee too.
Actually,
he's
he was
great.
there for 4 days out of the week, and then they got rid of him. But I did like the guy a lot. I still like the guy, but we got a great picture of us together. But what can I say?
What I was going to bring up was the point that I think he went into that to see how far he could, push him and see if they'd ever figure it out. Because Lee's a trickster. He likes to play games and he likes to have fun with it. And I don't think he thought they would take him too seriously. Yeah. But he didn't. I don't think he quite understood that ufology has its scammers, and that he couldn't do that and get away with it, right?
And this is like we're talking over 20 years ago.
Exactly.
It's quite a while ago, but a lot of people that bought his books and stuff, I guess they weren't too happy about it. But
that's okay. Everybody does their thing, and I just figure let bygones be bygones. You can't sit here.
Except he never was invited to other shows after that, though.
No, he wasn't, was he?
No, he was blacklisted after that, right?
Yeah, he was pretty much banned at that point. Yeah. I did have him speak at my last conference, just so you know, because it was 20 years since he did that at the Congress, and 20 years since the book was the book that the
right.
Oh God, what is his name? Applewhite, the Comet guy. Yeah. That's what it was all about for me. So I brought him to the conference to discuss why the book was the Big Applewhite thing. So very interesting.
Well, if I ever come to one of your conferences, what I'll do is I'll have you as a volunteer, right? And I'll do something extraordinary. Well, I'll make you move in a certain way without telling you how, or I may touch you in a certain way, but from 50 feet away.
Ooh, that sounds like
and you could verify
interesting implications.
Yeah. No kidding. And I learned I can do this by accident when I was a teenager. But you could tell them that it's not a trick or it's not something that was you won't know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? People. I don't have accomplices. I don't use any stooges. Everybody is a complete stranger to me, or somebody I've never met before. But I really enjoy doing that, and I did do that actually at Bob Brown's. I did appeared at about 18 of his conferences demonstrating these abilities. Cool. With some people wondering, what the heck am I doing here? What am I doing there? And I did my programs there too. But there's nothing that would please me more, to tell you the truth, Lorien, than to be able to share my experiences and knowledge with people in the U.S. and some of these conferences. I wish I could make that happen, but it's something I've been trying to for 20 years, and for some reason I just can't seem to break into there.
Well, I understand the problem, and I think everybody needs to see your GoFundMe page, because I truly believe that what you're doing right now is very important that it's taught. And by the way, we've got 3 minutes before the first break and only break, so I just want to let you know that, Michael. And then when we come back,
what are you going to break?
I'm going to break probably I don't know.
Not your foot.
No. I got a cup of coffee here that I want to break the cup because I need more coffee. But
I like that. That's what I wanted to hear.
I need more coffee, and I can't.
You got a great sense of humor.
Wonder if I can get up and make it in that 3 or 4 minutes we've got at the top of the hour. Maybe.
I'm sure you could. Yeah.
Well, anyhow, what I want to talk about when we come back, though, I want us to get really focused here, and I want us to talk about if you remember any of your experiences. Do you have any stories beyond just lights in the sky or anything like that?
Oh, yes, absolutely, yes.
Great. So we're going to talk about those when you come back. And, it's so good that you were able to get to Bob Brown's conferences all those years. I think that's just extraordinary. Yeah. Do you remember a woman by the name of Melinda Leslie?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were in the whirlpool together. not by ourselves. But I met Melinda many times.
I will never tell her I know that, okay?
She'll remember me. But be about 8 or 9 of us be in the hot tub, after the conference, and a bunch of us be up to 4 or 5 in the morning talking in the one of the places, the bars there or whatever. But absolutely, I remember Melinda. Yes.
She's hopefully she remembers me. Yeah. She will. I'm sure she will. I'm talking to her when the show's over tonight. She's one of my best friends.
Yeah, I thought she was a nice lady. I really liked her a lot.
Yeah, she's an amazing. And you know what?
She had a great energy. I liked her energy.
She has the best energy. She could be my friend, Michael, if she didn't have the best energy, okay? So it's that simple. And she does a spoon bending workshop. And I want to talk a little bit about, we're almost hitting the break, but do you know Uri Geller?
Yeah, I met Uri. I've been associated with Uri Geller for about 30 years now.
Oh, okay. What do you...
He's the one that taught me on how to move that piece of paper on a pin of a needle when I was 17, 18 years old.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about that a little more when we come back, because I'm very curious about the way he teaches, and you're one of the few people I know that he's ever taught anything to. Everybody else says, oh, yeah, I saw his show or I met him, but nobody that I know has ever learned anything from him. So you're quite unique in that category. So we'll talk about that when we come back. You know, MJ, let's take it to a break because we're almost at the top of the hour, and we'll be back in a few minutes, folks, with Michael TelStarr. Welcome back, everyone, to the California MUFON Radio Show. I'm your host, Lorien Fenton. I'm glad you guys are with us here tonight. As I explained earlier in the show, I'm a little giddy and probably hallucinating, and that's what happens when you have like over an hour's sleep. And I'm hanging in here, though. I'm really happy to be with Michael tonight. I'm really kind of glad that I'm out in space with Michael, because it's very interesting. Michael has had a lot of really amazing experiences. And, you know, Michael, what's interesting about the people I know that have Asperger's, they are amazing achievers. And you achieved so much when you were younger with your escape artist acts and your whatever you're calling it.
Paranormalist?
Yes, paranormalism.
Scientific principles with metaphysical applications.
Yeah, I mean, you've really accomplished some amazing things. And, I'm just really happy for you that you've been able to do your passion your entire life. And so few people get that. I hope that you're aware that you're very, very lucky. And I got to say one other thing. I know from your perspective, it isn't always easy, but I can tell you this. I know you already. You wouldn't have done anything any different. Is that correct?
No, I would have gone the same route I had gone on, and I discovered that being an escape artist was like those yogis who do these things where they lay on a bed of nails. It was a type of self-torture. It was something I had to go through, Lorien, in order to discipline my body and to understand my mind.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I didn't understand at the time until later on. I realized I had to do it. You know what? I had to do it. I had a choice not to. But I had to go through doing it. It's like being outside for 4 hours in the freezing cold and then coming inside a room.
The Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
Oh, what a great audience. Let's dim the lights for this next one. Nope, too much. There it is. Got to get things just right. Like Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Tell us what you want to pay, and we help you find coverage options that fit your budget. And now, the mood is right. Wait, the lights are back on again. Trudy, can you? And now it's completely dark.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's 10 degrees warmer, and appreciating that difference.
Yes.
So I had to do that, and that's just the way it was.
Yeah. Well, on the break, we were talking about the fact that you've had some amazing, alien encounters, too. So let's get right into that, because I know everybody's going, God, Lorien's just losing it tonight. She's all over the map. So let's get real focused, and let's go right into some of your encounters. And you were telling me about a certain one you had when you were out of body that sounds fascinating. So go ahead and tell the audience about it.
Yeah, I have some validation. I have some physical proof and some photographs of markings that were on my body, just to let you know. But one experience that I had from 20 to 23, I had these experiences where I would project into the second state, I call it, and leave my body. And I would go out there and I would see these objects floating in the sky. And one looked like a colossal pyramid. One looked like a sphere. One looked like another ship, cigar-shaped, and going one way or the other. And some of them motionless, not moving, and some moving slowly. So I wanted to go up there and see and check one out, right? So I went towards it, and the thing would move away. Okay, so I would will myself. It took me a while to learn how to do this, but I willed myself to go up there. And it would move away. So I saw another one that was closer. I'd go towards it. It would move away. I saw another one, and I tried to go towards it. It would move away. And I would will myself to get through it, to get in, and it would always go away from me, right? This happened for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
2 years. So I got determined. I said, why am I not getting there or inside there, whatever it is, you know? And I realized that I kept getting distracted from one object to the next. So I put it in my head, Lorien, that the next times I'm going to project, I am going to be iron focused. So that's what I did. I projected. I was lucid. 3, 4, or 5 in the morning. I'm out. I see something, right?
Right.
I go towards it. It moves away. This time, what I did was I planted an anchor to the object. It's called an identity signature. I planted an anchor to the object. It's a technique I learned from the Monroe. I planted an anchor to it so that when it moved away, I kind of went with it. And it moved faster, right? And I moved faster with it. I got the impression that I was traveling, and I know this is silly, I got the impression I was traveling 10,000 miles an hour. This thing went through mountains and went through places that I never identified or seen. And as it moved, I was reeling myself in to get closer and closer. And all of a sudden, pop, I find myself inside. And guess what? It's just like I'm in a physical room, but it's not a room, okay? It's a railing. I drew the pictures down. I have diagrams. It's like a railing. And this was a triangular shaped ship, just to let you know.
Okay.
I don't know what the size was, but I was inside. I got what appeared to be a railing, and what looked like 50 feet ahead of me looked like two extraterrestrial, two non-physical beings, right, that appeared to be about 5 feet 10, and they would look like what the people call the grays. But they were not gray, they were brown-skinned, okay, but they had the big eyes. Now, I'm on there, and as soon as I got on that railing, right, I touched the railing, and I could feel it. And I said, gee, this is kind of cool. And as soon as I got there, the two of them turned around and looked right at me. And they asked me to please leave, politely, please leave, right? And I says, I'm not going to leave. I'm staying. It took me 2 years to get here. And they looked right at me. And that's what, that threw me off a bit. But because I expect the unexpected, you know, I was ready for it. At that time, I had developed my abilities so that panic and fear did not put me back into my physical body, by the way, but that took me a while to do too. So they asked, so I said, no, I'm staying. I'm going to watch you guys. So one of them looks like he's walking, and by the way, I can feel the floor, and I can feel what appears to be the railing, the beam. And he's walking towards me. He's wearing a belt. He's wearing a one-piece suit with a belt that's about 3 inches in 3 inches wide, and it looked like it was studded with diamonds or jewels. And in the belt, it looked like there was a wand that was about 8 to 10 inches long by maybe half an inch in diameter. He took the wand out, and he's taking it out, and I thought maybe he's going to give it to me. And he does give it to me. He touches me. I get a massive electric shock. Massive electric shock, and I could feel myself going backwards to the mountains. We went through buildings and mountains and valleys. I had chased them for, I don't know, halfway around the world. I could feel myself being reeled right back in, and when I got back into my physical body, I actually jumped about 2 or 3 feet off the bed.
Oh my God.
And there you
I
go.
did the same thing.
There you go.
And I was standing up. I was so afraid. I had an experience. I got to tell you about it because Michael, you're the
and that wasn't a dream. That was solid. That wasn't a dream because I know the difference, and I teach it between regular dreams and ordinary dreams, lucid dreaming and ordinary dreams. And at the time, I was, and that's something I never told anybody for years.
Wow, that's
but I wrote it down.
amazing
I wrote everything down. I wrote everything down in 1,000 pages of documents.
Wow. That's a trip. Well, before we get on to your next story, because that's just fascinating to me, I got out of my body because an evil entity popped up out of the floor in my room, and I jumped out of my body, and I took off running to get out of the house. And when I went back in my body, I hit my body so hard that I was standing within half a second. I literally was on my feet.
You understand a little bit what I mean now.
Yeah, I know exactly what happened to you, because the same thing happened to me. It doesn't happen to very many people unless they're really tugged back or they're pulled back out of deep fear. Or, in your case, you were being tugged back from a long distance.
Well, I was laughing at the alien, or whatever creature or whatever being it was. They look like what you term ETs, but I learned from Mr. Monroe never to label the beings you meet. Try to be like a journalist.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I learned that from him. And so, but the thing is, I was laughing at him. I was actually laughing. I says, "You can't do nothing to hurt me."
Michael,
touch me. Boy, that hurt.
Did you ever draw them, or have you seen renditions of that type of species?
I'm an artist. I'm a skilled artist.
Okay.
I'm a skilled artist at 10 years old, so I can draw exact details of ships, interiors, engines, which I've done already.
Wow.
But I haven't shared with anybody. Anybody.
That's probably
I haven't.
good. You know, I mean, you could put a book together and put all this in it, which would be kind of cool. What do you think?
I was going to do that, and 2 years ago, somebody broke into my storage unit, and 40 years of my life was stolen.
Oh, Michael,
17 years I had my private property there, all my special equipment and all my drawings, paintings, schematics, everything. And it was an inside job, and the police wouldn't do nothing.
Yeah,
wouldn't do nothing to investigate it. And that was a year after my mom passed on, and it felt like I died twice. Lorien, it was not a very good feeling, but I lost a massive amount of information.
Yeah, I know. And it's hard to reconstruct it. It truly is. I know.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I would say give it a shot. You never know. Maybe it won't be 1,000 pages. Maybe it'll only be 250 or 300. But people need to know about your experiences, because from what I'm understanding, you've had them all, and that's what's interesting about people like yourself. Like I have friends that just, hang out with the Greys or the Nordics or, whatever. People like yourself, Jason Quitt, myself, a few other people I know.
I know Jason, yeah.
Jason's wonderful.
Jason was at the Alien Cosmic Expo. We're right next to each other.
Oh, good. No, he's a wonderful guy.
Yeah, and his wife or girlfriend bought all my materials.
Oh, good.
She saw my lecture that I did, and she bought all my stuff. She wanted to take my program, but she didn't have enough time.
His wife is lovely too, by the way.
Yes,
everybody out there. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say here is there's very few people out there that have had different types of experiences, and you seem to me that you're one of those. You've had the kinetic, the empathic, you've had the out of body, you've probably had alien contact, you've had it all. And there's a bunch of us running around who have had many
scared
different
some of my girlfriends, I'll tell you that. Terrified them, I tell you.
Oh my God, okay.
One or two that I was with for 10 years, I'll tell you, that terrified them.
Oh, really? Now, okay, now I may be weird, but that would have fascinated the heck out of me. So
they expected it, but they didn't expect it. They didn't think I was telling serious, and then when they saw what happened, they didn't know what to think.
Well, they should have been happy that it's happening for you, man. I mean, I would have been like, cool, get their autograph and come home.
They were terrified of being taken away or something.
Well,
this was physical. That. This was not non-physical.
Yeah. No, I get it. Oh, speaking of, now tell us about an alien encounter you had that was like a physical one.
I had one. This is I'm sleeping, And I'm having a lot of these experiences, you know. After 20, they seem to kind of escalate.
Right.
And I've been in a relationship for 3 years. I had, we're in a finished attic. We have the second floor in a finished attic.
Okay.
And I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden, there seems to be a light coming out of the closet. And the closet's probably 25 feet from the bed. And I wake up, and my girlfriend, I was with for 14 years of time, wakes up. And the door opens, right? And a person comes out of the closet, right? But they're not, they don't appear to be alien. They don't appear to be extraterrestrial.
Okay.
Female looking, okay? Completely naked, right?
Okay.
From the closet, moving in a parallel line, one, and then another line straight, not a curve, coming up to the bed. She is aware of it, but she can't move. I can move. I move extremely slowly because I am not terrified, right? Just extremely, not shocked, but very surprised, right?
Okay.
And this person was about, well, they appeared over 6 feet, okay? And
very interesting.
It's a female, appeared to be Asian looking with a page boy haircut.
Oh my God.
And translucent skin.
Oh my God.
And I move incredibly slowly from laying down, from seeing like to moving up, sitting upwards, right?
Okay.
And I'm able to move, and my part next to me can't not move, but her eyes are open. And I sit, and the person comes right up to the bed. Now, person is very tall, but they're not, because they're levitating 6 inches off the floor.
Okay.
And I move inch by inch, very slow, because I don't know if this is real or not. And of course, I realize it's real, but I don't want to do anything like untowards, like, you know what I mean? I had no fear.
Yeah.
I had no attack mode, no fear mode, and I went up to them with about 3 feet of their face. And I said to them, and my head, it sounded like it was coming from my mouth, but it was in my head. And I said to them that you cannot possibly be real. And they lowered their head slightly so that their eyes were about 1.5 feet from mine, looking at my eyes, very large pupils. And they were saying that, this is what they said. She said, I'm as real as you are.
Wow. Now, Michael, this is just one entity, right?
And then, yes, but then the girl was knocked out. I was taken somewhere. That's another story, though, too.
Very interesting. Now, I don't know if you know this.
She remembered it. She told me all. I told her. She remembered it, and she was afraid to talk about it. Right? But we can talk about it later. And then I had other things happen to me where I doubted my sanity. You know, you have something happen to you, Lorien, and you doubt your sanity. I'm not young here. I'm not old. You're not young. 21, 22,
Michael,
23.
That's a daily process for this girl, I'm telling you.
But it's nice, Lorien, when you can get physical confirmation that you're not going off the wall. And that did happen to me a couple times where I thought I was really losing it. And for some reason, they whoever was allowed or whatever, they were allowed to give me physical proof. You know?
Wow.
And I'll tell you about it if you want.
Yes, please do. Please. But before we go on, I just got to interject something. Michael, there's a new movie out about a guy who has had sexual relations with an extraterrestrial woman that you described to a T. It's her sister. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so this extraterrestrial woman you're talking about, naked, and she has boobs and the whole bit, right? I mean, she looks like a human woman.
Yeah.
But her skin is very translucent, and she's got short black hair and big black eyes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're describing
or kind of an oriental look in her eyes, or
exactly. Okay, that is the exact same description of this woman that has been having a relationship with this guy forever. That they made a new movie about. That I'll get you the name of it, but you're just blowing my mind because you're describing the exact same woman.
Yeah, so 22 here when this happened.
Yeah, well, this has been going on his whole life. He started having a relationship with her or her sister when he was like, 15, a little kid, like 5 or 6, and then as he grew up, he started having a real relationship, a sexual relationship with her. So. Yeah, very wild.
I wasn't that lucky. It was a one-night stand. Let me put it that way.
But well, okay. Did you get lucky that one night?
Yeah, one-night stand. Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, when I did tell her, she remembered it. She hit me so hard on the shoulder, it gave me a bruise.
Oh, because you did have relations with her that evening.
But I said it wasn't a physical woman. It wasn't a physical woman. But she remembered it. She hit me so hard. I remember that. I mean, she hit me. I mean, that punch was hard.
Oh, God.
And she didn't mean to. But I said, this wasn't somebody. I didn't call her or whatever. Or I did, but I don't know. Difficult to explain.
I'm sorry I'm laughing. But you know what? I don't know if I probably would have punched you, too. Because, she had to sit there and watch the whole thing, right?
Yeah, she did watch it up until that point, then they passed her out.
Oh, I see. So she didn't get to see the good, juicy stuff. Okay, darn.
It didn't happen there.
Oh, it did. Oh, God, this is getting better. You want to tell us where it went to? Where you guys went?
Yeah. Well, I kind of told me to take her hand. And then we just shifted somewhere else.
Oh, I got it. That's exactly what happened to this guy. God, you're going to love this movie. I'm going to make sure you get a copy of it, okay?
Yeah. And I wrote all this down in a 1,000-page journal. And I had the records for 5 years. And then one day the journal disappeared.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I told that to the Monroe Institute, to their psychologists up there and their other people up there. And they told me why it happened. But I won't get that reason right now.
That's fine. That's fine. So did you guys go through, you just were in another physical location. Were there other, now this is going to sound like a crazy question, but trust me, I've got a reason for asking. Were there other naked women that looked like her in the same place that you guys went?
She's the only one.
She's the only one. Was there a praying mantis being there by chance?
No, I'm aware of those beings, but there was no praying mantis being there. No.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to get a beat on whether
I am aware of those beings.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple dozen others, but not that one.
Not that one. Not that experience. Okay, gotcha. So now tell us about any other experiences you might have had. These are just juicy. I'm telling you, Michael, I'm loving it.
Well, I was remote. You know what remote viewing is, right? Of course.
Oh, I do know what remote viewing is. Yes.
So everybody does that without realizing it. I took David Morrehouse's class in '97.
He is an amazing guy.
Incredible teacher. Yeah. He's a mentor for 5 years. And I took the master's class in San Diego in 2001, and I was learning to develop the ability, even though I was already doing it beforehand. My specialty is extended remote viewing, not coordinate remote viewing. So extended remote viewing means when your body's asleep and your mind's awake and you're able to go to these different places. So I had a lot of experiences of extended remote viewing. And one experience I had, I met 3 life forms, 3 female life forms, right? My remote viewing experience, I understand the difference between OBEs and remote viewing, and I explain that to people in my programs, but I won't get into that here. It takes too long. I was having a remote viewing, but I was there, I was there more than just mind, not physical body, but more than just mind. I met 3 female entities, life forms, and they told me, I asked them, who are they and why am I here? They told me they were from the star system called Pleiades, and there were 3 females. One female, beautiful woman, by the way, beautiful females. One female woman would ask me questions and I would answer her, while the other 2 were looking at me. And then the other one would ask questions while the other 2 were looking at me. And this happened for a little while, right? And I told him, I says, you know what? This is crazy. I'm just dreaming this. This is not real. And she says that we are them. We are the beings you refer to as that. But that's not what they call themselves. Right? Of course. That's not their true name.
Right.
I mean, they do not refer to themselves as that. It's a much more ancient name. But that's the name. And I had probably about 85 to 90 experiences of these beings in the second state. So I was remote viewing, and I told them, this is all whatever. I'm dreaming it. I don't believe it. This and that. They gave me a lot of information. They told me a lot of what was going to happen. So the next day, right, I'm with the same girlfriend. I don't tell this to anybody. The next day, I come back in from what I'm doing, maybe 4 o'clock. And my girlfriend at the time, she was working as a waitress. And she worked half the year. The other half of the year, she was doing shows with me. And I came back, and you remember the old style recording machines with the 2 tape players? 2 tape cassettes? Oh, it was great, wasn't it? This is how long ago this was. So I listened to my messages. Message. You will be needed. This is them. Time to change career. That's it. Female voice, sound deep, almost robotic.
Right.
I played it, and I couldn't believe it. And the night before, I said I'd never believe it unless I had evidence or if I had proof. And then the very next day, I got that on my answering machine, and I kept those 2 tapes for a dozen years before they vanished.
Wow.
And that's the truth. I will take a lie detector test, true detector test, any test, but that's what they said. They said time, this was the correct order. Time to change career. This is them.
Wow.
A woman's voice, deep, no emotion, straight, simple, and that's it.
Yeah. Michael, I need to interrupt you for just a second. And the reason I do is because I want people to understand something. Stan Romanek and many others have gotten the same voice on their message machines as well over the years. And, as early as the 90s when message machines started happening, contactees were getting those type of messages. I do know that Stan's messages are played in his movie. And, folks, if you've got a problem with Stan, then have a problem with Stan. I have no problem with you having a problem with him. Yeah. But what I want you to do is I still want you to rent the movie, The Stan Romanek Story Extraordinary, because I'm telling you, folks, there's no way you can fake aliens like Stan, like supposedly Stan did.
Yeah. When I got that, I was incredulous. It was beyond belief that I would actually get physical evidence and proof on an answering machine.
Yep. Yep, it's happened.
And I accused my ex girl at the time. Well, I accused her a day later, And she said, how could I say that to you when you never told me what happened? I never told her what happened. I never told anybody what happened.
Oh.
It was secret. I mean, I kept secret what happened to me secret because it was embarrassing. I found it embarrassing, kind of.
Yeah, well, of course. Well, that makes total sense, and it's very interesting. Anyhow, you're not the only contactee this has happened to. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised the men in black haven't taken everything you own.
Well, you know what? I think they might have done that, too. Because remember, I mentioned 40 years of my life was gone.
I know.
I had stuff when I was 12 years old in that garage, that storage, and none of it was ordinary stuff. It was, a lot of special things that I had in there that finally just vanished.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of sounds like it. Well, okay, so you've had that interesting experience where they left evidence, and now have you had any more over time, or is this kind of dwindling, or do they still come to you?
Yeah, I still have experiences, right? But they're I've had physical strange physical markings, like pyramid shape markings on my body.
Okay.
And my friend Casey, who was an investigator at MUFON about 4 years ago, we were good friends for 15 years. He went to the UFO conferences as well, and I let him stay in my room. And his name was Casey Holt. He had taken some pictures of unusual markings that appeared on my body, and unfortunately, he died in a skating accident. About 4 years ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it happened on December. It happened Christmas Day, December 25th. Last time his mother saw him, and 10 days later he was found at the bottom of the pond, right? And of course I had just been in Minneapolis. I had just done 7 days of seminars and programs in Minneapolis, where Casey, I would stay at his place, and he helped me out. And we did all kinds of experiments together where he had physical evidence at his home because he was very scientific. And he fell through the ice. He was an expert in ice thickness. And the farmer put a radiator system in the middle of the pond. So 20 feet out, the pond was not solid. He checked it out for a few feet. When skating 20 feet out, fell 20 feet down and drowned. And he was an expert athlete. He was a super swimmer, expert athlete. He could outswim me, and I love the water.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
I sensed it happening when it actually happened, and I couldn't believe it. Yeah. But I sensed it actually happened, and he's like a brother to me, and he had all this pictures and evidence, and also VHS tapes that I had taken from Area 51, other stuff that he had also with him.
Oh, that's what thank you for reminding me. Now, when did you went with Casey to Area 51?
No, I went with another friend of mine, Steve, and I was one of the very first people to go to Area 51 before it was even known. A fellow by the name of Glenn Campbell was doing...
The Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
I took a bit of a risk singing that song, but of course the one place I never take chances is the road, where Progressive Snapshot rewards your safe driving. A good driver plus Snapshot equals big discounts. And speaking of math, 1 + 1 = 2, little too late.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California, North Carolina, or from all agents.
Special request to go there. And we're talking about 36 years ago. Right. And we went to Little Alien Inn. We got there around 3:00 in the morning. Pat and Rachel had a hamburger and fries and a 6-pack ready for us. And then the next day we trekked. It took us 6 hours. We drove and then we trekked to Area 51, right at the very edge, and we stayed there for 24 hours. And it was me and 4 other people, but besides Steve and Glenn, this guy by the name of Glenn Campbell. And I got his book. I got pictures, and I still got the same book, the same cheap book that he made, whatever. I have it signed by him with the date and everything. And we taped a lot of unusual things. Now, a lot of it was probably reverse engineering. But the thing is, Lorien, is that on the way to Nevada, I drove. And it took us a few hours to get from Las Vegas to Rachel, Nevada, because a lot of cows sleep on this. They go on the street on the cement to cool off in the summertime.
Yes.
This was like in June or July or August, and I had to swerve. But behind us was an unidentified flying object that followed us for 2 hours.
Really?
And my friend who was 10 years older than me, who I had trained to try to not be afraid of UFOs and aliens, who told me he was ready, I says, we're going to stop. And he begged me. I slowed down several times. The object would slow down. I'd speed up. It would speed up. He begged me not to stop. He was terrified out of his mind. And I couldn't stop. He literally would have freaked out of his mind, because I told him, look, Steve, stay in the car. It was a rental, right? Stay in the car. We did a 30-day tour of hot spots around the world. Now, I'm only 29 years old, so I was one of the very first to go to Area 51 before it was blocked off, and we were at the very edge of the mountain where we can actually see the crater. And we did see lots of great activity, and I videotaped it, and we had it, and I had it, and I lost 50 videotapes, all that in my storage. But he was also a witness. But this is something that I would challenge anyone to refute. Pat and Rachel, the alien, I don't know if they remember me. They have a picture on the wall. I know his wife passed away, but the thing is that I was there, and I remembered it. But this object, I wanted to stop, but my friend was freaking out too much.
Yes. No, I understand.
I says, you stay in the car, and I'll go out. And he was 10 years old. He was 50 years old, and I'm 50. He was 48, and I'm 27.
Oh, God.
Okay? He's a dozen years older than me, but he was terrified. I thought you said to me you wanted to meet him, Steve. He says, yeah, but I can't take it, or whatever. And he was terrified.
Yeah. Well, Michael, I need to interrupt you again. I'm sorry to say, but that is just a fascinating story. And did you stay with Glenn Campbell up at that campsite that he used to have that overlooked? We stayed for 24 hours. Oh, you know who I'm talking about, right? I know exactly who you're talking about. I think I know where you went. Yeah, you guys had to hike in, right?
I mean, it took us several. We walked, right? We walked like 10 kilometers or 10 miles or whatever. 10 miles. It took us hours, but the thing is, I loved it. And we stayed overnight. We loved the stars, the stuff that I saw, and I videotaped it on my old-fashioned video camera. And it's funny, at the little alien inn, the rooms each had 2 beds. They only had 6 rooms because of the trailer. 6 rooms with 2 beds, and each room had a TV with a VCR player, so that you could put your VCR tape in there to see if you did see what
Right, see those.
And I played it, and it was. You know what? I got some really great stuff, but I couldn't stop to tape the object behind us. But I tell you, I loved it, and I wanted to stop, but my friend was not psychologically ready.
Yeah.
And he was freaking out. I tried to calm him down. Like, I prepped him for 10 years. I tried to calm him down and tell him to relax. Close your eyes. I wanted to stop the car to the side, leave the cows. There's a lot of cows on the highway.
Oh my God! I know, Michael. I got to interrupt you again. I had the same experience when I drove out there. Those damn cows. They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're like
it's like a nightmare.
The cement to cool off in the summertime because it's cooler.
Yeah.
And I was warned that, right? And I could drive in the dark, and it's pitch dark for 3.5 hours.
Oh, it is pitch dark. There's no street lights out there, folks. We're talking in the middle of freaking nowhere.
I loved it. I loved it, and I thought
I did too.
Steve, you know what? I thought my friend Steve was ready for it. So because he's the one that said, Mike, let's go on this trip now. So we did, but he wasn't ready. We went to the Grand Canyon. We had a sighting. We went to different places. We were ready, but he was too terrified. And because of that, they didn't make themselves completely visible to the two of us.
Right. That happens. If one of you is petrified, it's not going to help the crew,
Well, yeah, the guy was almost like on the verge of passing out. He says, look, Steve, pass out. We did. On one trip, we're on the bus, Colorado. 2 o'clock in the morning, we see the object. He ends up passing out.
Oh, well, maybe you were taken. Do you think?
Well, I wasn't taking the physical, a non-physical. I ended up on the roof of the bus, and then I was taken. Same thing happened to him, but he freaked out.
Oh, God. You know, well, it kind of, you know what's interesting, Michael? The more I hear these stories, the more I realize that, you know, people like us are a bit different, I guess, because I'm not afraid of stuff like this. I have never been afraid. Now, I'm probably more afraid now than I was then. But, man, when I was in my 20s, I was fearless. I mean, I tell the story on this show every once in a while about how I used to race cars. I used to do all kinds of crazy, crazy stuff. And my family literally had bets on whether I was going to make it to 21 or not. Seriously.
Wow, nobody did that to me.
Well, I was racing cars when I was the only girl in a group of guys that would race cars the way I did.
I'm surprised you didn't become a stunt woman.
I wanted to become a race car driver when I was, 12 to 16.
They didn't allow women back then.
It was very difficult. Yeah, it was. I even had a boyfriend that was a pit guy, and he had a dragster. And yeah, I mean, I really wanted to do that. But anyhow, long story short, I also wanted to be a goalie in a hockey team, but there wasn't any hockey down in Portland, Oregon at that time, except for the Buckaroos. Anyhow, long story short, I was way ahead of my time, but I was out there living the life. But I know I got that from when I died when I was 18 months old in the hospital, and the angel or aliens came and, kept me alive, right? I didn't die, but I almost died. And they kept me here, and I have not been afraid my entire life. And people think that it's probably because I'm weirdo, but I think it's because I've had alien contact of some sort, whether it's an angel or God or whatever you want to call it. I've been blessed, and I know there's something better on the other side. So I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to go tomorrow, And I think I
understand.
Yeah, and once you've been out of your body and you've been traveling around as an OBE, which I've done a bunch of times, you realize that there's much more to us than this dimension. Absolutely. And so fear is not like it is for most people. But you know what's hard, Michael? It's hard remembering that because you've lived it. You and I have lived our whole life not in fear, right?
But I did have fear for several years. When I was physically bilocating, I did have fear because I didn't know what was happening.
Oh my God, you were bilocating?
And then when I read
about me. What
and then when I read Sylvan Muldoon's book when I was 15 years old, that's when I started to understand. Sylvan Muldoon and Harry Carrington, I got their book 1940. Oh, I wish the darn thing got disappeared. I love that book, but it helped me to understand what was going on. But Harry Carrington and Sylvan Muldoon was one of the pioneers, right, in the OBE stuff in the 1930s.
Right.
And I read their stuff, and I realized this is what I'm doing. I'm not sick. But I had fear. I had tremendous fear up until I went to the Monroe. Because I had these creatures tell me that if I get out of my body, they'll kill me and tear me apart.
Well, that's what happened to me the time I jumped back into my body, was that evil entity came into the bedroom and I took off away from it. And yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah. But that was the only time I was afraid. But once I got back in my body, I knew it was over.
Yeah. For me, it kind of stayed, It's kind of like palatable. Okay. Palatable. I could feel it.
Yeah.
Like it was still there and I couldn't see it.
Well, I knew that too. Isn't that interesting? How you know?
Well, my father took me to the Clark when I was 15, but I never told him nothing, right? When I said to him what he was doing when he was on a business trip 300 miles away, and at the time my mother had already been gone, I told him I saw him with this lady and stuff. He kind of thought I was crazy.
But you were right, weren't you?
Yes. But he didn't understand me. He didn't understand me.
Yeah.
And I was also experimenting on, at that time, 14, 15 years old, electronic voice phenomena without realizing what it was. I accidentally left my tape player on record and tape when I was practicing pronouncing on it. I left it on by accident. When I replayed it, I had all these funny I had these crazy voices on it and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it scared the hell out of me.
Well, yeah, it does kind of, until you actually figure out what it is, then it does scare you.
And this is when I'm young, right? This is like when I'm, very young.
Yeah.
14, 15 years old.
Wow. You know, that's so
I played it to my dad, and he thought I was making it up.
Could he hear it?
No.
Yeah, see, only certain people can hear those EVPs. It's interesting, but lately...
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. Yeah, he could hear it on the thing, but he thought I was making up the voices.
Oh, he could hear it. Okay, yeah,
yes,
because
he could hear it clearly, but he thought I was nuts, that I was schizophrenic or whatever, and I was making up the sounds. But I told him I wasn't. That this is what actually got on my. I was asking him to explain what it was.
Right, exactly.
So, after that, a chasm built up between us pretty fast. After that.
Yeah, I bet it did. Yeah. You know, it's a tough life being anything different, isn't it? It's just a tough life. You know, people, if they don't understand it, you're ridiculed. And being in high school and being different like this is just, it's a horror, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember one whole year, I never had no friends in grade 9. Everybody avoided me like I was an alien. I swear it was not very good, Lorien. In grade 7 and 8, I had 2 friends. In grade 9, I had nobody. Nobody, not one friend in grade 9. The whole year go by, not one person. I was avoided like I had the plague.
Yeah.
Imagine how I felt, having lunch by myself in the summertime, going outside, and I didn't understand it. Everybody avoided me.
Well, it's odd being different.
I wasn't very happy about it. You know?
No, I don't blame you. I wouldn't have been happy either. But
the girls and the guys and everybody avoided me like I you know. Yeah. I got horns on my head.
Well,
I tried to blend in.
Yeah, it's tough blending in when you're that different. It's really hard. But you know what? It makes you really strong. And you know what? You have amazing abilities now. You have absolutely amazing abilities, and you're sharing them with the world. Yeah. And I think you're phenomenal, Michael. I really do. I think you're just You've had the encounter with the Oriental naked woman, which is very interesting. Like I said, you've had out of body OBEs. You're a natural remote viewer. You're
but I like sharing it with people. That's the most. I love to empower human beings.
Oh, isn't that what it's really all about?
Remote viewing. That's what I love doing the most.
I tell you what, remote viewing is the key, because what remote viewing does that people don't understand is actually transcends time.
Yeah. But I also developed the remote telekinesis, remote healing, remote telepathy, remote touching. So I've actually come up with a whole bunch of different things that were not developed by the Stanford Research Institute.
Cool.
And then my mentor, David Morrehouse, well, he knew about that stuff, but I kind of, anyway.
Well, I'm fascinated by what you teach. Now, do you have workshops up in where you're living right now?
I've done them. I've done most of them. I've done about 1,000 programs in North America and the States. I seem to have seems to be a greater demand and understanding of it in the States and U.S. than in Canada.
Okay. And if someone went to come to one of your classes or your workshops, would they get a workbook? Would they just get time?
Yeah, I have manuals. I have 5 manuals and 15 CDs and 88 DVDs.
Jeez.
On my seminars and programs, and I would love it. I would love it if I could appear at your next conference, Lorien, and everything coming up. I would just love it because I love to share. And I guess people in Canada and Toronto, they're still afraid. It's true.
Well, they shouldn't be. I'm very upset with them for not embracing you for the Canadian guy that you really are.
I know, but it's true, isn't it? An artist is not accepted in his own country. A healer, a Canadian, a humorist, an actor, or whatever.
Yeah. It's so true.
Athlete,
Yeah, and so do you do any type of, I saw that on your GoFundMe type of thing, the crowdfunding page, that you do events. Do you go out to events and help people raise money for their causes?
I've done that to many, many charities.
Oh, that's so sweet of you.
And I've done it to many charities. I've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars, but the problem is that I've been exploited by nefarious agents in the States also as well, and I won't get into details. And this has caused me a lot of problems as well. I was exploited, and because as Canadian, believe it or not, they take advantage of me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm wishing to God with all my soul, Lorien, that something might transpire, and I had a vision and a dream, and you connected with me, that perhaps maybe somebody out there, and maybe yourself, might help me in some way to share my knowledge and my vision to help and teach others and share others that they can do these things that I can do. Maybe not to the exact degree, but to a large degree.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, Michael, I will do what I can. Right now, my life is, right now I have no sleep because of being hacked. And it really looks like it, folks.
Yeah, I was hacked too, by the way. I was hacked too last year, 6 months ago. So I understand what you lost. I lost 1,000 emails, but I got them back. But I was hacked twice, actually.
Yeah. And I can tell it was a hack job because I keep getting script errors that are definitely someone had to write a script to make this go away. So I know it wasn't a virus because I run a virus scan all the time. So I know it was directed at me, and I know why.
Somebody is not very nice. That's just trying to make it difficult for you.
That's right. Just like they were to you, and just like a lot of us, the experiencers, the people who are really out on the forefront of spirituality on this planet, because you know what? Being an alien contactee makes you by default a spiritual person, because there's one thing the aliens have that humans do not, and that is they can't lie. I've never had an alien or an angel or any of these things that come at you lie to me. At least I haven't. Now, I talk to my friends who deal with the Greys, and they're not sure they're telling them the truth all the time.
You know, the funny thing about the Greys, Lorien, is that I've met these beings, right?
Okay.
But they're not gray. They're brown skinned.
Right.
The ones I've met that have brown skin that looks like tan leather. But for some reason, people call them the Greys, but they're not gray. I haven't met any of these beings, whether they're 3 foot, 5 foot, or 5'5", whatever. They all seem to have a particular kind of tan, brown color in their skin.
Interesting.
And then they wear these big contact lenses in their eyes.
Wow. Okay.
Their eyes are light sensitive, so they wear these big contact lenses that make their eyes look black.
Interesting. Now, and do they take out the contact lens so you absolutely know
that's what absolutely, it is? Yes. They've done it to me. They have done it. But their eyes are super light sensitive on Earth. So because they come from a star system that's different, but the ones that eyes look, black, they're not black. They have pupils and irises, just that they're wearing these large contact lenses that are like, they act as sunscreen for them.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, and they're physical.
Wow.
They're not non-physical. They're physical.
Well, if they ever lied to you, because I'm dying to find out.
You know what? I'm not going to say they lie, but they're not going to tell you everything, though.
Yes, that's it. They're hiding some of the truth.
And you know what they said to me? They know that I'm extra tricky to kind of hold back ever since I was like 18. When they tried to knock me out several times, and I ended up waking up on the table. And they said, this guy's awake. He's not supposed to be. Well, I got a lot of cool experiences, too, that happened to me, meeting people that have passed on the other side, by the way. But there's so many benefits and advantages, Lorien, that you can develop through projecting into the second state, meeting loved ones and doing things, And it's you're doing it already. And I tell people, well, since you're doing it, why not remember how to do it, right?
Yeah.
And that way connect with people that you love and heal and stuff. And anyway.
Wow, that's fascinating. Now, we only have a few minutes left in the show, and I've got to do this because you are Canadian. Do you watch hockey?
Well, I kind of stopped watching a while ago when the Maple Leafs stopped winning about 40 years ago. I used to be a big hockey fan, up until about 20 years ago. But the Maple Leafs haven't won in more than, I mean, I'm younger. I mean, I'm older than the amount of times that they haven't won since 1961.
Well, that's the absolute truth. The poor guys haven't won for so long. And
they won in the 60s. They won 3 or 4 points, but that's because it was only 6 teams playing.
That's right.
Only 6 NHL teams playing, and that's why they won. But now, there's, but the thing is, still, you think they would have won, even once every 5 years or once every 10 years. Yeah. But, 50 years not winning, it's not a very good thing.
No, it's not. And it's sad. And I got to say, I'm a big Sharks fan down here in San Jose, California. I've been following the Sharks since the day they first stepped onto the ice. I was in the Cow Palace cheering them on. And we have come close in 27 years that we've been in the league. We've made it to the finals once. So the odds of getting in now are so slim. I mean, and the odds of winning 2 or 3 years in a row are even more phenomenal.
Because of all the other teams, too.
Exactly. And they just added another expansion team in Las Vegas this year.
That's right. I just heard about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. And they're doing great.
But those guys are winning. And you know what? They're going to win the NHL Cup.
What?
They're young.
Las Vegas?
They're young. They're young and they're hungry. They're being paid a fraction of the cost. But they're going to win because they're hungry. You see, they're not looking at the money. They're looking at winning.
Exactly. I
already told this to a friend of mine. Bet for them.
Really?
Right?
Should I bet with them? Hey,
Absolutely.
How about this?
Absolutely.
How about the Knights and the team that won last year? I think it was was it? I can't remember. Anyhow, I'll bet against the Western Conference, Eastern Conference winners last year. Okay,
good.
The Golden Knights against these guys, and I'll do it in Vegas.
These guys are hungry, man. They're gonna win.
Oh, good. Okay.
When I heard about them and saw them, and they live in Las Vegas, the barometric pressure is a lot different. It's always the people have a good mood, and that energy of the atmosphere of Nevada, and it's just a different thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, sweetheart, there's very few seconds left in the show.
Could I give myself a plug for my email and my
Yes, do all that. Go ahead, take your time.
Okay, folks, if you're anybody want to get a hold of me, if you'd like to book me for a conference or whatever. Get back to me at mtelstarr@hotmail.com, mtlstarr@hotmail.com, and my personal cell number is 647-960-7113, 960-7113, 647 area code. That's about it.
Cool. So you'll give people your phone number live on air. You are a brave man. Don't let anybody tell you you're not fearless.
I am doing it because you know what? I figure, my life's not extended to centuries. What do I have to lose,
Yep, absolutely. Well, everyone, thank you, Michael. For
anybody who's any interesting questions or whatever, or want to check my stuff out, and then they can go to my Facebook page too, I guess.
Okay, they will. They're going to get to your Facebook page. I promise you that, Michael.
Okay,
everybody
Lorraine.
Have a great week, and thank you, Michael, for being here. And MJ, thank you for being at the helm as usual.
Thank you very much, Lorraine.
You bet, sweetie. And I'll see you guys all next week, and we're going to be live from International UFO Congress. So be here. Talk to you soon. Good night.